I really want to meet feminists who are in relationships with men, whether that's marriage or dating, because a lot of times, I'm very naive. In my feminism journey, I've always assumed that all the women around me are also feminists. And then when I find out that they're not, I'm just shocked. Or when I find out that women are dating men who are openly misogynistic, I get very shocked. But it's like, this isn't shocking. I'm kind of just naive to assume that all women are feminists, so that's my fault. But the reason why I want to meet feminists who are in relationships with men is because I really want to know their perspectives. So many women I know settle for misogynistic men because there's kind of like this narrative that there's no hope. There's no man out there who's doing the work. And I just really want to know, like, what are the non-negotiables? What are those things that, like, what are those red flags, those immediate red flags? Because I feel like I have my list, but I'm just intrigued to hear from women who are more experienced in dating, to hear their experience.
I think she has a point. I mean, if you claim that you're feminist, right? And then you are in a relationship with a man with a misogynist. I think we should start by defining what a misogynistic man is. From the definition, from online definition, from internet definition, a misogynistic man is a man who is like totally outrightly against women. A man who picks on women, who is always like talking bad about women, all that. That's the basic internet definition of a misogynistic man, right? She is curious to know, like, if you claim to be a feminist, why are you dating a misogynistic man? That's her question, and she has a right to ask this question. And this is a very good question. I never really thought about this question, but I think this is a good question to ask. But then it would depend, because I have seen cases where some men are in the public, they are so loud, they're so aggressive, they're so against women in public. But when it comes to their girl, as they say, they're different. Like, you'll be wondering, is it the same person who is always picking on women who is with this woman? What's going on with both of them? Are they like in a peaceful relationship? Is it okay? Is there abuse in the relationship, verbally, emotionally, or physically? These are the questions that people who are outside of the relationship are asking, right? But it's so difficult to know what's going on in people's relationship and what they choose to portray outside. That's what I'll say. That's my answer to this, because in many cases, when you see people, the way they behave in public is different from the way they behave when they're at their place, at their comfort zone, like in their homes. They behave differently. So sometimes some people are just like mouthy, some people are just rude outside to people, or sometimes it's the reverse. Some people are extremely kind to other people outside, but when they go to their homes, they are demons. Like, they are so aggressive, arrogant, disrespectful, but outside of their homes, it's an angel. You will see an angel. You will experience an angel out of their homes. So that's my answer to this, because if someone is so misogynistic to an extent that people cannot stand him in public, I don't think any woman will be with the same man if he portrays the same attributes at home, like when they are alone together, when they are together in his home, or in their quiet place. No one will want to be with that kind of a person. And she talked about, are you a feminist? Because, okay, nowadays, like I said before, feminism has just shifted so far to the right that no one wants to talk about liberal feminism. No one wants to talk about like the basic concept of feminism. Basically, feminism is equality, equal opportunity, equal chances for both boys and girls, for men and women to access resources, to make decisions for themselves, to have the freedom to do anything that they want to better their lives, right? But when you have these kinds of questions being asked, I can't help but think that you are talking about feminism as defined by online, by the internet, right? And for a long time, I have observed how feminism has morphed into this very, very toxic form. Like, it becomes so toxic that so many people don't want to identify with feminism. It's so toxic that even feminists, women who are activists, who are fighting for women's rights, who are working towards empowering women, don't want to identify with the term feminism, because feminism nowadays is more and more radical. It's more like radical feminism. There's nothing liberal about feminism anymore. So when you ask that, you want to know whether these people who are in a relationship, who are women who are in a relationship who are feminists, you want to know how the relationship is, the red flags and all that. I'll tell you that there's so many women who are still liberal feminists. They're not radical. They don't choose to be radical. Like myself, I choose not to be radical. I can never be radical because I am enjoying the best things of life. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. Maybe someone will say, okay, because you got married to a good man, but I know so many women who have gotten married to bad men who have abused them, men who have disrespected them, men who have stripped them of their rights, their basic rights, But these women never, ever, ever demonized these men. They took it as a bad experience in life. They dusted themselves and moved on. And that's how life has to be. Not maybe because one man has been abusive to a woman or one man has done something to a woman. It doesn't mean every man is like that. It doesn't mean every man is like that. And it doesn't mean every woman is going to have that bad experience. It doesn't mean that, So talking about feminism, there are so many women who are in relationship with men who are liberal feminists, or they don't want to be tagged feminists. They just want to do it right. They just want to live their lives and be happy. And they are very conscious of the choices that they make. They want to make the right choices for themselves, for their kids, for their family, for their well-being, like those basic choices. They want to make it. It's not all about feminism. And what's with, are you a feminist? Are you not a feminist? Like, is that is that the norm to be a woman? Must you identify with feminism, being left or right feminism or center feminism? No. You can still live your life as a woman. You do it right. You fight for girls, for women to have rights, women to have access to education, women to make decisions for themselves, but you are not identifying with any form of feminism because you just know that these are the basic things that you have to do. You want to do it right? I know some of you are going to come for me that, oh, this is feminism. You're talking about feminism. Of course. So many women have fought for women's rights for over hundreds of years. For almost 100 years, women have been fighting for women's rights, and we are benefiting from these, from the works of the women who fought for the rights of women, right? But when we try to demonize this whole fight, it becomes so toxic that so many of us don't want to identify with the toxic form of feminism. I'll tell you, I don't want to identify with the toxic form of feminism because most of the people who go out and shout, oh, don't be with a man, I don't need a man, these are people who are disgruntled. These are people who have had bad experiences with men. And it doesn't mean that every other woman is going to have a bad experience with a man, right? So you shouldn't be campaigning for other women to join you to be against men because you had a bad experience with men. You know what they say? Misery loves company. Not everyone wants to be miserable. We don't want to be miserable. We want to be happy. We want to be happy. The fact that you are not happy doesn't mean that we all have to be sad, right? So that's my answer to this. I don't know if it answers the question, but that's my answer to this. But if you disagree with what I say, let's continue in the comment section. Tell me why you disagree with me.